Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. As we read together from God's Word, the Bible, here to seek the face of Him who alone has been our help in ages past, and who alone is our hope for years to come. Join us now for God's Word, the Bible.
We have that is inbuilt, is by default in human beings. We have that. But the question is, how do you control it? How do you handle it? Why are you mad at me? Why am I mad at you? Why are you mad at your son? Why are you mad at your daughter? Your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your relation, your friend, your colleague at work, your business partner. Why? I was driving by a funeral, a burial ground. I saw a monument. That was last week. The date on it was 1867. I was like, wow. 1867. The family of whoever that man or woman, the family that man or woman came from, they probably don't know where that monument is, which means we are all strangers. We are living. It doesn't matter what we do, where we live. It's just a question of time. So to answer and to go deeper into this anger and forgiveness this morning, we're going to really look at the definition of anger, because we all know what it means. But I'm going to define anger, I'm going to define forgiveness, and I'm going to define unforgiveness, so that we will all choose. Because life is complicated. You are your own brand. You know what you're thinking. You know whether you are evil inside, but when you come outside, it's all showing that white teeth. I know if I am evil inside, when I come out, I pretend to be like a cat. Like, oh, he's so smooth talking, very quiet. We don't know. The only person who knows is you. I don't live with you, you don't live with me. Our fathers, there's this proverb that say, like, this is an example. When you want to marry, you marry with one eye. I didn't understand that till now. You marry with one eye. Why is it one eye? Because you don't know what the whole story is until two of you start living together. You start seeing what's inside that package. So let us define anger. Like I said, we all know the meaning of anger. But let us define all three of them to know where we belong. It's not coming to church. The name of a church will not save us. It's you. How do you live as this year is coming to an end? Where do you belong? So anger. Anger is a strong feeling of intense displeasure, hostility, or indignation as a result of a real or imagined threat, insult, frustration, or injustice towards you or others important to you. You see? All the words mentioned here is a burden. Hostility, displeasure, indignation, small thing, everything is a threat. Somebody will say something, you misunderstood it or misunderstand what that person is saying. You get frustrated for a little bit of thing. Everything is unjust, injustice towards everybody. It's against you, the whole world. So when you are passing through all this, small headache will come, is in. From headache to something else. All these things mentioned here is too much for the body. So our body is vulnerable when we have all these things working against us. So now let's look at forgiveness. Forgiveness, giving up of resentment against someone or our right to get even no matter what. What somebody has done to us. In other words, surrendering of my right to hurt you back if you hurt me. This is difficult. It sounds easy to say, I forgive you. It's also very difficult to get up and call a brother, a sister, whoever that you have a misunderstanding with. Look that person eyeball to eyeball and say, look, you know what? I forgive you for this, for that, and for this. You don't really want to know what that person's reaction will be, because it could, to that person it will be something that will be, I said it. It was his fault. It was her fault. No, you're doing it to liberate yourself because it's a very big burden. I don't know how many of us back in our villages, we have a very narrow road. If somebody is not going to the market, you're going somewhere to get something, you're cycling or you're walking to some place. And then opposite you, think about it. Somebody that you are mad at is coming opposite you and you are walking that way. You can imagine what that reaction will be. Because two of you don't speak. But it turned out to be that both of you are walking towards each other. So that's the burden, the feeling that you've seen this person that you don't talk to, how uncomfortable you are. That's a big burden. So let us look at the meaning of unforgiveness. A deliberate, willful refusal to give up one's resentment and right to get even based on the wrongful thought that someone need to pay. You see what this man did to my son, what this woman did to me, what this man did to me, or to this person or that person. I will die to make sure. No, it's not going to happen. That land, I'll get it back. Look, when this door is open, there are people that we are very fortunate. We were brought up a certain way. I was reading about this cab driver. We are all looking for money. Drop somebody, and at the end of his walk, for some reason he went to his trunk. Oh, no, the back seat. He saw in a bag $94,000, all $100 bill. Guess what? What time of the year? End of the year. Most cab drivers are immigrants. We don't know. I think that man came from Yoruba. It was a Yoruba man from the name. This is a decision for you and I to take. We're looking for money. You just open a bag. Nobody is asking for the bag already. You can deny it because you're a cab driver. $94,000. What did he do? He's not a member of Faith Tabernacle. He called the law enforcement. And do what? He did what? He gave up the money. The officers, they were looking at him. Why? He missed an opportunity to some of them. Why did I bring him up? We were raised up in a certain way, just like we are raising our children now. Once you have that fear of God in you, you trust God, all these things are history. You will never go to bed. Yeah, I've run into someone there for 6 months. He said, my wife, we don't talk for 6 months. Wow. How will that house look like? This is anger. What will happen to you when you die with such feeling of hate? 6 months, not even a day, 2 days, 6 months. So now we have seen the definition. We've talked about anger with all the baggage, the package that it came with. Forgiveness. Hold on right there. Freedom. It's not going to happen. So give and take. Forgive me. Brother, I have forgiven you. Sister, I have forgiven you. And then you call on the name of God. He's not going to let you down. So let somebody else read Matthew 18, 21 to 35. of Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 35.
Matthew chapter 18.
Yes.
Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto you until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
Okay, hold it right there. We have between day and night is only 24 hours. You sit at home, we all gotta have one thing or the other that we are doing. We keep using that name, David. You know, it's an example. David will make me angry or do something wrong to me. It's not 7 times 7, 70 times 7. And I'm sitting there counting it. Who does that? It's not going to happen anywhere. So that means you have to keep forgiving. It does. People will be hurting us. Is trying to make you angry. Your car can have a flat. You start moving slowly, trying to get a corner where you can. Somebody blow what? Not mind, you don't care. Your car is breaking down. Somebody don't care. You don't care. All they do is to make you angry. So it's coming. It's there. But guess what? We are so fortunate to be brought up in a certain way. We're raising our children today, putting the fear of God in them, so that when all these challenges show up, they will be able to handle it just like we are today. So we're going to talk about how the steps to deal with anger. How do you get up and say, wow? Because it's difficult for me to say, to make that decision. Let me call David and apologize. Because I might even apologize to David, and David can't wait for me to leave that restaurant, and he goes out, call the next person, and say, I told you that thing that happened 5 years ago, you see? Daniel apologized, which means it was his fault. No, that wasn't the intended purpose. It was for me to liberate myself. So, how are we moving from this year to another year? Because we have been saved by God. So we're going to take advantage of that, because there are people that don't have that opportunity. Our time is moving so fast. So we will end it up here and ask God for all his blessings. Whatever that we have done wrong to anybody or to someone, we ask for forgiveness so that we can welcome the new year with a clean slate. This is the end of this Sunday school. May God bless us all.
Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. as we read together from God's Word, the Bible. Here to seek the face of Him who alone has been our help in ages past, and who alone is our hope for years to come. Join us now for God's Word, the Bible.